Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making brownies, but brownies that require 100 hours before you can actually eat them. 100 hours. Let us process this a little bit. This is a 4-day recipe. That means you have to wait 4 days and a little extra before you can actually eat these brownies. But will the 4-day process improve the flavor of the brownies? That is the question. So big thanks to all my lovelies that recommended this video to me. It's a recipe made by Alan Zhu. I'll put a link down below to his recipe and channel down below. And that is the recipe that I'm going to be following today. So in a nutshell, we're going to be making a brownie batter, but we have to let the batter rest for a period of 3 days. We're going to bake it and then let it rest for another 24 hours to allow the flavors to develop. I consider myself quite a brownie connoisseur. I have loved brownies since I was a child. My mom would go to the mall to go shopping on the weekend, and she would buy me as a treat one Mrs. Fields double fudge brownie, and I would nurse that thing for days. I would pinch little pieces off, roll little balls. So me and brownies go way back, way back. So I'm very curious to see if this 4-day process is really going to be worth it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this recipe. I'm going to bake some right away, give it a taste. The rest I will follow the directions to the T and we'll taste that 4 days later. But I want to have a little taste comparison to see if this is necessary to wait this amount of time before we indulge in this much chocolate. And this recipe has a lot of chocolate. You're going to need 7 100-gram bars of chocolate. What? 7 bars of good quality chocolate. But we're starting on a good foot, aren't we? So let's go ahead and do this. So first thing we need to do is brown some butter. I'm going to turn on my heat. Oh, it would help to have some fuel in here. Yep, we need some butane. Otherwise you can't have a fire, right? You need fuel. There we go. 2 sticks of butter. Butter has milk solids that toast up nicely, and they also can burn. So we have to keep an eye on this. We don't want burnt butter. We want browned butter. So browning the butter gives it a great nutty flavor, and we're going to stir this and keep stirring it until it gets nice and nutty and toasted in color. I just killed the heat. You can see how it's starting to turn this brown color. Now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of espresso powder. And I'm using King Arthur's espresso powder. And I'm imagining the heat will accentuate the coffee flavors. Kind of similar to when you're making Indian food and you toast up your spices in the fat. This is 30 grams of coffee that has been frozen. And this is going to bubble up. And we're going to cool it down. This recipe actually contains quite a bit of coffee, and Alvin is a big fan of how coffee accentuates the flavor of chocolate. So we're going to set this aside and let it cool a little bit. So I've got 4 large eggs. Ooh. Did you see that? That was a thin-shelled egg. It's a good thing I keep my counters clean, because we're gonna do this. Oop, 3 eggs. Wow. Now we're gonna beat this up on low speed. Now we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of vanilla paste. I've never used this ingredient before. It smells like vanilla extract, but it contains sugar. Interesting. That's beautiful. And indeed, it has little bits of the vanilla bean pod in there and the seeds. Ooh, that's nice. And we've got a bunch of sugar, 2 1/4 cups of sugar, a lot. We're gonna add this to the eggs, and we're gonna beat this until it's light and fluffy and makes nice little ribbons. I'm gonna add some of that now. All right, to our egg and sugar mixture, we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. Think. and another tablespoon of espresso powder. Now we're adding 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. You looking fine. 8 ounces of melted dark chocolate. This is 75% dark chocolate, so pretty bitter. All of that in there. And I cut this up into pieces and I melted it in the microwave, 30-second intervals, so I wouldn't inadvertently burn it. Now we're going to sift in 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to switch to my bread whisk. This is really great for thick batters. Because it's made for mixing bread. Oops, that's not good. So I've got 2 bars of chocolate. Milk chocolate, dark chocolate, 75% cocoa mass, 31% cocoa mass. We're going to chop this up and then add it to our brownie batter. Boom. And then mix this in. Lovelies, do you know why this batter is so incredibly thick? It's because I almost forgot to put the key ingredient, butter. The brown butter that we made, that we worked so hard to get nice and toasty, almost forgot to add that into there, along with all that espresso powder that wants to stick to the bottom. Get that all in there. Okay, now we're talking. I was going to put my cutting board away, but then I read the recipe and it requires another 170 grams of chopped chocolate, dark chocolate, to put on top. This is a 9-inch brownie pan, and this is a 6-inch cake pan, a bit smaller. And I'm going to line it with parchment. Check the fit. Very nice, very nice. Jacques Pepin taught me to keep your parchment paper in place. You just use a little bit of butter as glue, just a bit. We're going to fold a square, kind of like we're making the snowflake, into a cone. It's not really a cone, it's more of a triangle. Measure the diameter of your pan, mark it with your thumb, snip it, and it should fit inside your pan. Ta-da! And because we buttered it, the parchment stays in place. It's very thick. Make sure we have enough for our small version as well. If you're making the full 100-day version, you would of course pour all of this into a 9x13 pan. I'm going to smooth it with the offset spatula. Now we're going to take the chocolate that we chopped up, sprinkle that all over the top. Talking about gilding the lily. Woo. Make sure we have enough on the other brownie as well. Oven cooks this for 30 minutes, but that is one that has come right out of the refrigerator. So I'm going to check mine around 22 minutes to see how it is, because this is not a cooled batter. And then I'm going to let it fully cool, and then we will come back and taste the immediate brownies. This pan, on the other hand, will rest for 3 days. So I'll see you in a little bit once this is all baked and cooled. Alrighty, my lovelies, I am back. It has been several hours since I placed the brownies into the oven. They are completely cooled. We did have a power outage with 2 minutes left on the timer. I just left the brownies in the oven. The power thankfully came back on. We had a big snowstorm, so grateful for that. So let's go ahead and taste the 1 hour brownies. I didn't have a square cake pan this size, and this is a brownie, and brownies are supposed to be square, so let's cut this into a square. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Ooh. Alrighty. Let's give this a taste. It looks like a very dense, fudgy brownie, which I like. Definitely fudgy, not cakey. Itadakimasu. Very fudgy and kind of gooey, a little bit gritty. I can definitely taste a lot of coffee in there. It's buttery, but it's pretty bitter too. That bite had a little bit of milk chocolate on top, which balanced out the amount of kind of bitter coffee, dark chocolate flavors in there, but a very strong brownie. I think this will definitely do well with resting. As it is, it's not my favorite brownie. It's very, very intensely chocolate, which I like, but the texture's not quite right. It's fudgy, but a little bit grainy, gritty, and the coffee flavor is just way too strong. I feel like I taste more coffee than I actually taste the chocolate. Because as it is, it's not my favorite brownie recipe. It's not hitting all those indicators for me for a brownie. I like the nice crackly top. I like an intense chocolate flavor, but I love that rich buttery flavor, which I feel in this case, the butter is way, way, way in the back. What I taste first is the coffee notes and the very intense dark, dark chocolate. And it's just overpowering and all around just too assertive. So I will report back in 100 hours and we will see how the brownies turn out. Okay, see you then. Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. I am back. It's been a full 100 hours for my brownie. I forgot to put on my mic, so I'm gonna start this right from the top. So I had my brownie batter resting for a full 72 hours before I bake them. Then I bake them, and then after I took them out of the oven, I wrapped them in foil, took them outside. You can place them also in a freezer if it's not freezing out where you live. Let it cool for 30 minutes, and then place them in the refrigerator to chill for an additional 24 hours. So here we are now. I just removed all of the edges off my brownie and now I'm cutting them into squares. Alrighty, let's finally give the 100-hour brownie a taste. Finally! Alrighty, here we go. Itadakimasu. It's still very, very fudgy. Let me give it another taste. The flavors have definitely mellowed out in comparison to my first taste test, where I found the flavors to be very, very intense. They still remain quite intense. I can taste the coffee, I can also smell it, but it definitely is a bit toned down. I think the texture of this one's better too. It's not gritty and as fudgy as the other one, although it is still quite dense. And I can taste the butter better in this version as well. For me, the amount of chocolate in here is a bit intense. I never thought I would say that because I love chocolate so much, but the dark chocolate in here is just so concentrated. It's almost more like a truffle. So are these brownies worth making? If you really enjoy a truffle-like density and intensity when it comes to brownies, you really enjoy dark chocolate and coffee notes, then this brownie might be the one for you. But if you're just looking for a brownie fix, then this recipe is definitely not for you, just simply because of the amount of time required to make it. Also, I don't know many people that just have 7 bars of dark chocolate lying around their house. And maybe you do. And if you do, then try it and let me know what you think. So after you've watched all of this brownie making and you're still craving brownies, I have a really great brownie recipe that I really like that I made years and years and years ago with Runny Runny. I'll put a link down below to that video. Alrighty, my beautiful lovelies, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media. Let me know what recipe videos you'd like to see and if there are any recipes you'd like me to test out. And yeah, thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Ha ha!